It's time to ride it. 3, 2, 1, let's get it. Come on, pull up a chair.
Black shirt.
Purple shirt.
Purple shirt. Purple light.
Shadow blacks. Shadow black. Also black hat.
Black hat. It is episode.
This is word association. Go fast. Go fast.
The door that's white normally.
Door that's locked that I can't get in.
It's my bathroom.
I have to pee.
Not in my bathroom, you don't.
Okay. Pee in the corner of the room.
I don't have to imagine doing that.
Welcome to the writer's room, everybody.
Yep, welcome to episode 30. It is episode 30 of the writer's room, I think. Pretty sure. What? Who'd have thought?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do we need do we need a bigger reaction for the Instagram reel that comes out later?
So
maybe kind of play it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Braydan and I have had a falling out, so this will be the last episode of the writer's room. I don't know.
All right, I wasn't there for that for that conversation. I wasn't there for that argument.
Yeah, Braydan's twin informed me that there will no longer be any writer's room. So, unfortunately, we
You didn't tell me that.
Well, I thought it was you. So, the contracts have been signed. The lawyer has made it official. We can't do this anymore.
Like that my twin sister is like my identical twin.
Yeah,
and...
she has a beard and everything.
Yeah, I mean, unmistakable. That's exactly what she looks like. She looks
I didn't realize that your sister was a twin. So I had no idea going into that bit, so that's great. So we're back.
We are.
I have a story to tell.
Serenade us, buddy. Take us on a journey.
So, I was watching a video, or maybe I was reading. Something happened. I was on Reddit, and I read.
You don't want to be there.
Well, hold on now. I am a Redditor lurker. You leave us alone.
What does that mean, Redditor lurker?
You don't post anything, but you just look at stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
It sounds. That you know what that term.
Don't. No.
Okay. It
But
says
so
about a man.
Spooky story. Of course, it's on Reddit, so you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. But
wait. Let me do spooky story time.
Spooky story.
Story time. Let me get the Blair Witch Hunt aesthetic. Okay, I'm ready.
So
spooky story time.
And I'm probably gonna misquote a lot of the story, but
that's okay. Just go for it. Tell us to the best of your ability.
There's a 2 roommate living situation, and one of them was like, do you experiment with bi-curious stuff? The other one was like, no, not really, but that's cool, good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Later that week, this is supposedly a true story, by the way, a noise was heard underneath the one that didn't ask all that. So that's we'll call that roommate. We'll call that roommate Brad. Brad is the one that didn't ask any of the bi-curious stuff. Steven is the other one. So Brad is in his room. He's asleep.
The other guy.
He hears something under his bed. He takes his phone, grabs his flashlight, and shines it under the bed. and sees Steven under his bed. And then,
Hi there.
They
I'm just chilling.
They both scream, and Steven rushes out, very apologetic.
Oh my god. The sad thing is that I could absolutely see that being a real thing, and that's horrifying.
Yeah, it actually very much is a scary thought. But so I guess Brad just kind of rushed out of the room and
got a new roommate, hopefully.
Well, went to a 24/7 Dunkin' Donuts, grabbed a decaf coffee and a breakfast sandwich, and just processed what had just occurred. And and then the friend group apparently was like, dude, it's not a big deal, just forgive them. And I was like, I'm sorry, what did you just say to this person? What did you say to Brad? No, Steven needs to be put into a facility, and Brad needs to get as far away as possible. And so
there is a facility for those kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it's called?
What is it called?
Jail. It's called jail.
It's called jail. But I thought, we're writing kind of a spooky moment in our feature film, so I thought I would share a little spooky.
That got me into it.
Yeah. There are others, but
I don't know if y'all saw me take the thing off the ladder while he was saying that story, but it was the shirt that I wore in the previous episode. I had to change. It was in the frame. But this is definitely a new day, and everything that we said in the previous episode about filming back-to-back is not true. Okay, let's get into this.
Yes.
All right. So, as Cole said, and graciously prepared us for, we're writing some spooky scenes now. If you remember in the last episode, we're getting set up for this Fresno Nightcrawler takeover in this spooky fog. So let's just jump right into it. We, if you don't remember, go watch the previous episode, get caught back up, and let's meet back here, and let's just dive right into it. We ended last episode about looking for a monster for Jeunet to turn into, so we can start doing some body transformation, body horror type stuff in this sequence. Mm-hmm. So we landed on, insert Google translation or someone pronouncing it properly right here.
Xiangqi.
Yeah, that's the one we decided on, that monster.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not butchering it. I'm not even going to attempt it.
Yeah. It's a tiger with wings.
Yes, tiger with wings and horns and things. So she's going to start turning into that. The beat we ended on, Cole, you said you didn't want the monster transformation stuff to give Jeunet a physical advantage in these fight sequences, which I think is a good instinct. We don't want to. This is supposed to hurt her, not help her. So, with that being said, how do you think she transforms in this scene to not give her an advantage, but actually a hindrance?
This
in the scenes to come.
Monster has horns. This monster has teeth. This monster has glowing eyes, and because I'm colorblind, I can't tell if they're red or yellow, but I'm just looking at the picture I put in our Discord server, but
oh yeah.
In all honesty, I don't want to make it too obvious what she transforms into.
Okay. I can see that.
I almost wonder if it would be more interesting to kind of just maybe her veins turn red instead of what is blue or whatever the normal color is.
Yeah, blue.
I'm tired.
Color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired too.
Yeah, but maybe it could be like a behavioral change, maybe.
Behavior change.
But I don't know. I don't want to make it too obvious.
Yeah, I do. I think now is the point where we start to see a physical alteration. We're gonna do some pain reacting, so relying on the actor to tell the story here. I think now is where we start visually seeing the change. I do kind of like this vein thing. Maybe the eyes also, I think, can start to change, and maybe that clouds her vision a little, almost like sort of like cataract. Like the glowing quality kind of helps her not see very well, especially in this fog. So that gives her a hindrance in this scene directly, where she can't really see. So the coyote has to almost guide her around. I think that could make for a potentially interesting.
It could, but I do want her to still be able to, you know, she's our protagonist. We can't bench her.
No, not bench her. Just give her a step back. I don't think she's blind. I just think this transformation is an immediate physical hindrance that she has to overcome, giving her an obstacle, if you will.
Okay. Okay. I don't think we do that until later on. I think we do the veins now, and I think post-ritual, she ends up maybe having a hard time. I think the ritual probably causes some issues, which I don't think we don't.
If we only do like something mine as like veins, then where's the escalation, you know? Like, how is the changing of colors of her veins and things any worse than the pain episodes that she'd been dealing with prior, you know? There has to be a sense of this condition getting worse.
Yes.
I think that gives this film some tension and stakes. And so how would you suggest this vein situation escalate the condition to a point where she's we can, as an audience, we're seeing that she's deteriorating before our eyes, and this isn't just like a problem that we say is happening and isn't actually happening.
Here's the thing. If we give her a disadvantage before HQ, they die. I don't think there's any way they're gonna be thrown into a situation where they're outmatched, outclassed, and she has a cataract disadvantage. I don't it's already kind of stacked up against them. I don't see them living if we give her a vision disadvantage. I also don't think it fits with this tiger thing, because big cats most of the time have almost night vision. So it would be hard to justify that. I think the vein thing gives a good visual cue, and it doesn't give anything away necessarily. I'm not sure what we could do besides make her physically almost sick. Maybe she's just she kind of becomes pale. She becomes super weak, and that's letting the actor kind of tell the story a bit more. But it doesn't give anything away, and it doesn't prevent her from fighting necessarily, but it does kind of weaken her ability to do things. And maybe it's when it's at the very end before she turns, she's not even able to stand. Maybe it's something to that effect.
For me, it still just feels like more of the same that we were establishing that we're doing already in these earlier scenes. I think this is the point where this transformation really takes a drastic change and something different happens. You know what I mean? It's subverting audience expectations. I mean, if I feel like the cool part about horror movies and kind of some of the movies that we're pulling from is that the way they do these types of things is that each time we see it, it changes a little bit. Something different happens with the transformation. Something different happens with the monsters behaving differently, which we're doing that and I enjoy. But watching all these old werewolf movies and it's a little bit at first, and then each time that it happens, or each time like we progress more into the werewolfification, something different is going on that I think is intriguing to watch, and also gives our character more to fight against.
So, but here's the thing.
Insert picture of Fantastic Four's the thing.
Yes. So, do we want to follow what all these other movies are doing, though? Or do we want to create the biggest surprise ever when she doesn't actually just end up turning and it does become this drastic change? So it's like we're subverting expectations again by almost not doing anything, but we're still showing that there's physical change happening internally, and maybe there's some behavioral change, but I think, I don't know, I don't want to give her, like, fur, because I think she'll look ridiculous. I don't want to give her horns, because that could hint at what she'll turn into, and it also could become maybe an advantage. I don't... The eyes thing I actually was on board with until I remember that this is a big cat. The only other thing I can think of that we might be able to do is, like, teeth. But, I'm not sure if we want to create that drastic of a personality change. Because that's, like, her using her teeth to, like, try and eat people is kind of crazy to me. And I don't see how else she can use sharper teeth. We could give her... I mean, maybe some... I don't want to give her more, like, muscle or anything. I don't know. I don't think we need to have, like, such a crazy visual thing happen. But
I'm not saying big and crazy. I'm saying something that isn't just, oh, let's have the actor hunch over in pain again for, like, the third, fourth scene in 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. At what point does the audience decide I'm tired of seeing that? You know?
I mean, she could bleed from her eyes and ears or something. But I mean, I don't know. And maybe this is a thing where she goes into this, like, trance state and she hallucinates a thing. Maybe that's something that could add to it. I don't know. Clearly, the theme of this episode is we're gonna fight.
Yeah, let's start. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay. Let me take a step back.
Take a step back.
And think about, let's just big picture this really quick.
Yes.
What do we want out of this scene? What do we want out of the scene? Let's specifically for Jeonye, what do we want out of the scene for her? How do we want to progress her character and her arc?
I mean, I don't actually have an answer to this question. That's crazy. Because I've had an answer to all of the other previous ones, but this one, that's crazy.
I mean, where do we leave her after this fight with new leader Yuri? She's kind of she got a little too big for her britches and wasn't really listening to those around her and kind of made a mistake, which she's allowed to do because she's in a new situation and trying to do the best for her.
Yeah.
I still think she's a little bit out for herself right now. That's fine. She also gets kind of like scolded like a child by the coyote for doing such a thing. And she's also just like kind of come to terms with monsters are animals and part of nature too, because she saw how these other Yuri were grieving the loss of their new leader. So we're kind of bringing her into the scene already on a somber note, and now now it's getting much worse because more monsters. I'm gonna have to do all this, and also ABC fill in the blank here is happening to me, and bad. I don't want that. Bad. A very clear reminder that I am on borrowed time because my blood, my literal DNA, my body, everything is infected and is slowly dying before me. And this is my last ditch attempt to save it. So she already begins the scene in a very desperate situation. How do we want her to end up as she goes into HQ? I kind of want to give her more verve because as far as roller coasters go, it's like up and down and up and down. She's definitely on a down right now. She got all the wind kicked out of her sail because she went out and did something on her own volition and it blew up in her face. So maybe now, does this scene kind of end with her having some somewhat newfound confidence again? Or do we save that for after the midpoint? Are we like building up? Because she can't just be sad for the rest of the movie. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
What's her arc? What's her overall character development here? She's trying to reckon with her past, right? Is that what we want to do? And that this monster is bringing out the worst in her.
Yeah. So maybe we need to find a way to show that she is trying to overcome what she did. Which would make my hallucination idea work if she went into like a Thanos got the Infinity Stone scene. Or snapped his fingers kind of thing. But you know what I'm like a trance-like state thing, and she's like in another world. Meanwhile, the coyote is like fighting for their lives against the Nightcrawlers, which I think at some point he just picks her up and just runs at some point.
Yeah, to do that, I think retroactively, I kind of want to sneak in little subtle like vision type things so that when we do this, we kind of establish that this is something that's a part of her monsterification. Because I don't want that kind of just like, this isn't the point of the movie where you drop a dream sequence out of nowhere. If you're doing dream sequences in a movie, you have to establish that around the first act, or it's gonna completely throw your audience off track. Sometimes it's good to do that to subvert expectations, but not when it's like a definitive like stylistic choice in a movie. That's not something that you decide in the third act and kind of just like go with, unless it's like that's part of the vision. Which for this kind of movie, it's not. That's not kind of the thing. That's not the vibe we're going after, really. Is like complete stylistic switch up around midpoint.
Could be. Could be.
Not really. Not really. Not for this kind of movie. That's more for like, maybe like experimental type cinema, I would believe, is where you can kind of get away with that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I don't want to...
Not like, that this is like mainstream, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't want to give her anything really super physical. Like, I would be down to give her claws in, like... Hang on, I gotta go to the outline. The end of Act 2, I think. Like, when they're, like, going into the swamp, maybe. Like, I don't know. I think it's too early to give her, like, such a crazy, even, like, slight thing. Because we kind of, like,
it is almost at the we're almost halfway through the movie. I feel like it's almost a little too late to start doing that kind of stuff around the third act. Like, the small changes around the third act feels a little late.
Well, yeah, and I would say, like, as they're entering the swamp, so it's not really at the end. It's after the middle of Act 2. It's after the middle of Act 2. We're disagreeing. We're gonna duel at high noon.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Drawing our word pistols and thought bullets at each other. So I mean I'm not giving up on this idea of
I think we need to figure this out for
this
sure.
being being very important for Jeonye as a character. She's still our protagonist, and I do feel like up until this point we've kind of been ignoring the arc, which is okay. We can always go back and kind of tweak things to fit an arc before we get to the script portion. That's okay. Because, I mean, we have this whole backstory of her being like a thief and assassin with skeletons in the closet. She's made these mistakes and things. We haven't really brought it up. And I do think we kind of have to go back and bring it up. But this is the part of the movie where those skeletons in the closet start to rear their ugly heads. And then in 2.3, 2.4, we talk about what that was.
Okay.
So maybe it is a dream sequence. I'm not opposed to that, really. Anyone who's read my personal work knows that I'm a sucker for a dream sequence. Anyone that's read my stuff knows that about
me. That's why I threw
it
out.
To say that I'm against a dream sequence would nobody would believe that. That'd be completely out of character for me. Mm-hmm. But I would need it to make sense and for it to serve a purpose beyond just being like, woo, trippy, which I do like trippy, but like it has to continue the character arc forward and give her some sort of realization or some sort of obstacle. I do kind of like this idea of where she's in the dream world and doing her own thing, that the coyote's having to do things in the real world with the monsters. That's fun. I like that. And also having to like maybe cart around these two kids too, that's sort of interesting, but that's at the point. Bleeding from the eyes and ears. What are we thinking about that? Just when I say that, how does that make you feel?
She's
like Rorschach test. I'm a therapist. I'm a therapist, and I hold the card up. Bleeding from the eyes and ears. How does that make you feel?
Bro's in trouble. Bro is not doing very well.
Bro's in trouble.
Bro is in trouble. Yeah, bro is sick as fuck, dude. If I started bleeding from the eyes and ears, oh my god. I'd be like, all right, I'm calling my parents. I'm dead. Like so while you were talking, I had another thought. And this is the only other thing I could see us doing. She goes into... Well, okay, think about, like, going into a rage in, like, fantasy things, or, like, an adrenaline thing. What if she goes into, like, an animalistic... Yeah, or, like, when Kratos, you know, and then he starts beating people up like crazy.
Yeah, I got you.
So, what if she has an animalistic thing that she doesn't necessarily have control over, and she kind of becomes very aggressive and is able to kind of leap around a bit more. Like, she's not doing human feats. And then, like, the scene is done, and then she kind of recovers her human self. But, yeah. So it's like the transformation kind of slightly kicks in for a second because she loses, like, she's like fighting a disease, so she loses temporarily and then she regains control of herself. And we can do that because this is already a supernatural thing. That's the only other idea I had.
Here, my improv professor is going to be really happy with me because what I'm going to say is yes and. Yes, don't choke.
No, I'm
is that surprise? Okay.
I didn't think you'd go for that, actually.
or maybe less improv would be yes, but because I'm not going for it.
Okay.
I'm changing it.
Okay.
Here's where my head's at.
Mhm.
Yes, having a monster come out and kind of take control of the body is interesting, and I think does kind of maybe get into more of like so like I'm saying like she does all this stuff as like the monster, and then like there's the comedy movie version of the scene would be like the Coyote and Janier are in the HQ and they have a moment and he's like, so what the hell was that back there? And then we get into like more of like, well, I was an assassin and yada 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 yada. Fine, that I could see that working in a way. But where I'm tripping up and then my suggestion is to tweak it a little bit. I said that and all my thoughts left my head. But I'm gonna barrel through because thoughts aren't really that important in a movie. It's vibes. Don't listen to your screenwriting professors. Don't think when you're writing. Just go on vibes. That's probably really bad advice, but I'm gonna stick to it anyways. Where I'm tripping up is it's a little too conventional, I think. I mean, yeah, of course, like the monster comes out and does all the evil monster things a little, a bit on the nose. It's fine, but a little too on the nose, I think, and some instances. And I feel like the execution would be really important in making that kind of work. And also, what are we doing with Janier in that meeting? You know? So, what I will say is, right before Coyote can draw his gun and fire at the Nightcrawlers to save the wife of the family, Janier has an attack. And it's different than any of the panic pain attacks that we've seen her have before this point. Maybe it is like the blood starts to like act up. Maybe she does kind of like bleed from the eyes and nose and like that kind of like physical stuff. And like that doesn't really have that much of a ramification on her physicality, except making her a little weaker, which is fine. I think that's realistic and probably what the story needs. But why? And it's like, I don't want to compare it to anything, so I won't. Forget I even mentioned that.
Okay.
Basically, we kind of switch driver seats in a way. So wherever like the dormant monster kind of personality, and maybe that's kind of connected to her evil assassin thief personality, because I do think that we're clearly establishing a connection there. Takes the driver's seat, and she's back in her unconscious mind that's maybe a little infected and monstery, and then she has maybe she does have a dream sequence, things like that, and she has to do dream things. I don't know, figure that out. But and she's doing that while the monster is in the forefront. Where I kind of disagree with you with that monster bit is instead of being like fully articulated, fully aware, rageful monster, I do think the monster is inherently evil and rageful. But this kind of monster is, in essence, a few days old.
Yeah.
You know what I...
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think it's kind of like... She becomes, in essence, like a child animal. You know? It's like, I don't think that she's able to like run around and start killing everyone. Because that's not what's going to happen. I think she's almost completely rendered next to useless. But anger, vengeance, and I do think that she maybe makes the Coyote drop because that's about the best she can do.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not here. What would you do? Or would it be
If you're not here?
Yeah, if I'm not here, what would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah. He's thinking.
That's a good question.
He's thinking. You don't know. I don't think either of us really 100% know anything right now.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, that's what screenwriting is. It's making an entire world. It's difficult sometimes.
And I do think it's kind of hinting at maybe a little bit of our different perspectives in writing things. And I know, like, in the unaired and the unpublished version of episode 25, where we did a bunch of different things that didn't make it and we just weren't happy with. But we did a bunch of, like, game show type things where we had a couple of our lines and we made our parents guess who wrote it. And hopefully in the future we can kind of bring that back. But anyways, I digress. Both your mom and my dad mentioned that I get why y'all get along and click so well creatively because y'all have very similar tastes and very similar senses of humor, very similar, like, that kind of stuff. Yeah. While that is true, I also think there's a slight difference in sensibilities, which is helpful because we are able to say no to things that maybe wouldn't work if we were just going on our own, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like moments like this where it seems more apparent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Because we're both saying no. And that's what's so tough is, like, we both want what's best for it, but we have different ideas of how to get there. Which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
I feel like...
Yeah.
I feel like if we were writing this movie of this idea by ourselves completely, it would look and feel completely different from each other.
Well, I'd still be in Europe.
And by merging those...
I'd still be in Europe.
What did you say?
I'd still be in Europe.
Yeah, that's true. You would still be in Europe. It would look and feel different from each other. But I think in forcing ourselves to collaborate and come up with something that we both like, very hard, but also I think will render a better movie for everyone because we'll be able to mellow each other's maybe less good ideas and less palatable ideas out and kind of present a great version of what would have been maybe not as great on both of our own parts.
Yeah.
But where do we go now? That was just a bunch of monologuing for me to continue thinking. Didn't work.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you've heard my two things. Either it's just a more severe version of what we've seen before, bleeding from the eyes and ears. Maybe the veins pop up. Maybe there's some other symptom that kind of continues and it doesn't just last during the moments. Maybe there's more to it. Maybe she's more sickly. The other thing is we do this animalistic personality switch, essentially, is what I'm saying. Where she kind of is able to do things that she shouldn't be able to do. And then it kind of goes back to being... It's almost like if anybody has seen The Boys, Billy Butcher and the Parasite. Have you seen The Boys?
I haven't seen all of The Boys, but I have seen The Boys.
I see.
Yeah.
Have you seen Seasons?
I get what you're saying, though. I kind of get what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, in that show, for those that don't know, there are moments where one of the characters, Billy Butcher, he's got this parasite thing, and he blacks out, and the parasite kind of does a bunch of stuff for him. But he blacks out for it. So yeah, those are my two thoughts.
It just seems like such a conventional way out of this situation, you know what I mean?
It's either the coyote does everything for her, or
we don't want that,
or she does everything for him. But I would also, I'm not saying, like, maybe she does attack them too. Like, maybe she goes after him and the kids, but then it eventually turns into the Nightcrawlers are there and they start fighting, and that gives the coyote and the kids time to get away. Which that would lead us into another problem of how do we get Jeunie to HQ. What I think we could figure that out. And that might be where we bring the wolf back, but I'm spitballing again still. I don't know. Those are my two options. And I'm trying to do right now actually is buy you enough time to answer my question from about 10 minutes ago and see what you, because I am curious.
What was that question?
What would you do if I wasn't here? And I asked that just to see where our visions lie so that we can then either compromise or maybe come up with an entirely new idea together that might fit. So this only happened like a couple of times, and I don't think it was as tough as this one necessarily, because we are actively disagreeing on how it goes in this one, and in the other ones we were just kind of like realizing our ideas weren't working. So but do I need to stall more?
Because it's such an interesting. It's an interesting question because, again, going back to where the kind of things, our sensibilities, the kind of things we write aren't exactly like one-to-one. I've never written an action type movie before. So, and that's what this is pretty much is. I know it's like action horror, but like this is still an action scene with a horror scene trench coat on. I mean, it pretty much has to be. So I'm kind of like learning how I would write an action movie. Because I've never done that before, and I've never really had a drive to make an action movie. So interesting. It's like, how would I handle a stoplight if I've never driven a car? I'm trying to figure out what I would do, because I've never really been in this situation.
I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, you've read most of my stuff. I like to stick to like character-driven dramedies, character-driven horror, atmospheric, surrealist type stuff. I mean, where most of the conflict is internal and relationship-wise, and like not so much external, except like the external situations are kind of personifying what's inside, and it's much more of like, we're not having to like have all these like situations where it's like, we gotta kill this monster and like get out of here. It's like, that's not the kind of scenes that I usually write. The conflicts are usually like, my brother is being a jerk and my dad is like freaking out because he has dementia, and my daughter is like going crazy, and I have to diffuse everyone before we all get up in a powder keg and everyone like just eventually murders each other. Like that kind of stuff is what I'm used to writing. Like if it was like a character type of thing, that's what I usually like to write, and that's what I'm naturally inclined to do. That's why all my questions are like, what's the character arc? Where's the character supposed to end up? What's her supposed to do? Because that's what I'm built to do. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that I'm hardwired to write about. And so what would I write about in this situation? You know what I would type out is the delete button a couple times, because I would just like be like, this isn't my this isn't my thing. I can't do it. And that would be taking the easy way out. And we don't do that here on the writer's room. We power through. So what would I do in this situation? Take a couple days to think about it, but I mean, again, back to character. What I think Jeunie really needs to do here. You're left. It's not funny.
No, it's not funny. No, it's not.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
What Jeunie? No, it's not funny.
No, well, I'm laughing at the "it's not funny" thing. I don't think I'm genuinely just intrigued because I've never seen this side of you because I've never seen you struggle with a genre. But I also never, I guess, realized that you just haven't dabbled with action very much. Does that mean the closest you've probably come to doing action is when you did The Shadow for me?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, and that wasn't even action.
I just wrote it. Not really.
Yeah.
It was set up like a sitcom.
Yeah.
The plot beats out like a sitcom because that's what I'm kind of used to writing TV-wise. Mm-hmm. And I just gave it the guise of like surrealist humor and horror, which is what I know, what I like and what I feel good at. And then just like kind of let the action kind of...
Yeah, because there were action elements in there.
Yeah, I mean, there was fighting and stuff. But,
yeah. Okay.
But so what would I do here?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of action movies that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Because my instinct would be to pull from action movies that I enjoy that maybe would have a similar situation of a character kind of being taken out of the fight in some way and having to overcome the situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't think of any examples.
That's crazy.
I know.
Well, it's weird because
Can you think of an example?
I've thought of the two. That's what I've thought of. Is those two things. But it doesn't seem.
Yeah, those two things, yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like if you aren't sold 100%, or even like I would even say 90%, I don't want to do it because that means there's still a better way here. Like there's, and it could be we need to postpone this moment, and it could be, but I mean I also see what you're saying where it's like we're almost to the middle of Act 2.
Yeah, now's the time to start doing this stuff.
And the problem I think that we're both having now is we've written this amazing B story and have not done anything with the A story so far.
Yeah.
So it is tough, but I mean, and I don't know why I do this. I go back to a lot of video games I played. I don't know. I for some reason those stories resonate with me more, and I can't explain the reasoning behind that. I pulled from A Quiet Place a little bit ago, but like,
yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like my sickly option that I described. I was thinking of actually Red Dead Redemption 2 and how much he struggled with just his, spoiler warning, tuberculosis diagnosis. Yeah. So he struggled.
That's true, yeah.
So it's not like it's a thing where we gotta, give her an insane thing. It's about how the actor portrays how miserable she is, and it's like, and maybe it's like this is a moment that kind of it turns from having moments to it's just terrible all the time, and it's like, oh, my illness is getting worse, and that's the escalation. And I know that's tough in a world full of chaos and monsters and stuff, but I think giving subtle elements like that might create a more grounded relation in this chaotic world. And it's like maybe we need that element of subtleness. And it's like that makes, to me, that makes the to go from a subtle change to a major, like, it's a flying tiger. Okay, I'm gonna stop because he has a thought.
Here's my idea. Jeanne starts to have some sort of physical thing. I don't know what it is yet, but I don't think, and this is crazy for me to say, but no dream sequence, I think. No dream sequence.
That is insane for you to say. That's
I know. I don't feel like it fits the world. I don't think it fits the world. I think we're already doing like the Russian montage thing with the coyote. that's kind of like the dreamy thing.
Yeah.
I feel like if my professor said, and this was harsh for me to hear, but my professor says, you write like weird style in weird world, and it doesn't work like that. You have to choose weird style or weird world. You can't have both.
Yeah.
And you know what I said? Mentally, I said, fuck you. But also, I was like, I kind of see where you're going. Because having weird on top of weird kind of alienates an audience completely. So I feel like we have a lane tailor-made in front of us with the Soviet montage. I think the dream sequence would just be a little too much for this film.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Braydan Kirkland fans. There will be plenty more weirdness in other projects. Don't worry, it's not. This is just for the one thing.
Yeah.
I think it's like, and what I want out of this scene is for Jean-Ye to be forced to take the wheel, and then reveal maybe a little bit of backstory about her and her actions. So, Coyote, before he can shoot and save the mom, Jean-Ye starts having an attack that I do like. I'm with you on. This is the attack that doesn't stop. This is the pain attack that just does not cease until she's fully cured.
Yeah.
And this is where we slowly start to physically transform, and then till the third act, we become flying tiger horn monster. Yeah. I don't know if it's like teeth or... I still kind of vibe with the eyes, but not so much as a disadvantage, but I just don't know. Something.
Well,
maybe it's just like the proportions of her limbs start to change to be more like monstery.
I don't remember what color we made her eyes, but we can have her eyes just fully change color. And
it could be.
They could even develop into cat eyes, or I don't know what tiger eyes look like, but maybe it's like tiger eyes. I'm not saying they give her any advantage, but they just look like... Yeah, and that's definitely a change that somebody noticed. Like, the eyes are so important with a character.
That's a painful process, I think, too. Yeah. Even if it's not like a huge disadvantage, I think having your eyeballs change into something else is in and of itself horrifying and a bit of a disadvantage. You're going to be taken out of it completely because, like, that's never happened to you before. That's awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's starting to change, and maybe it's a bit of a disadvantage in this situation because, like, I've never turned into a monster before. I don't know what to do. Coyote is kind of like forced to do his job in this situation. He's having to fight the monsters. But he's also bound to help Jean-Ye. And I feel like we can go back and kind of make that pact a bit stronger. Because I feel like Coyote's the kind of guy where he's like, I made you a blood oath, or I made you a promise, and I'm holding to that, or I'm dishonorable. I think that's the kind of guy he is, because I want him to be so beholden to saving Jean-Ye. And it's like, it matters to his soul that he does this.
Yes.
So his first instinct is to immediately go to Jean-Ye and help her. So mom dies, kids are distraught, dad is like, oh my god, what happened? What do I do? Monster. And I feel like there's like world building detail. He's like, he goes to the kids, he's like, kids, I taught you what to do in a situation like this. You know, do what I taught you. Because I feel like there's like the parents would have had to tell their kids like how to prepare for a situation like this. And mom's dead, mom's gone. Once Coyote kind of like helps Jean-Ye to her feet and is like, yeah, we gotta fight now. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to suck it up. Because this isn't the time to back out. This is the time you need to listen to me. Because he said that in the argument scene. You need to listen to me, so we're gonna do this. Kids are now kind of like come to them. Now the Coyote's basically like, I have to get us all out of this situation in order to keep up my end of the bargain. And we need to get HQ. So maybe this is the part where I kind of like this monster trap thing, and I'm still kind of like sticking to this. Maybe that's how the dad gets offed. He steps on a trap, dies by the monsters. He's gone.
Okay.
For whatever reason, dad's gone probably too. very quickly after mom dies. Now the kids, we have to save the kids.
Yeah.
So, and we start to see these night crawlers are kind of all around hidden in the fog.
Yeah.
My proposal for this scene is that Coyote basically tells Jeunie, who is feeling all sorts of pain and things, all right, we're going back to back, link up with my arms. You need to walk forward. Find the way. I'm going to be looking around with the pistol and trying to kill all the monsters. You have to get all of us and these 2 kids to the HQ to safety. That's your task.
Crazy task, but yes.
Yeah. And so not only are they doing 2 separate tasks, but they're aligned in their goals. And I think that makes for something interesting and also gives them 2 separate things to do within this scene. And so while Coyote can maybe stick to his quote-unquote strengths in fighting the monsters, Jeunie is having to make some hard calls of like which way to go, and like maybe that causes some disruption. She takes the wrong turn, monster comes, blah, 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 blah. Do we lose a kid or 2? Maybe, probably. You know, we can't have these kids stick around for too long in the story. But, and I think she's doing this all while the pain and the whatnot of being turned into a monster slowly but surely, and very obviously. But eventually we get to HQ doors, burst in, and close it behind us.
Just Dallas would be good enough, honestly. I don't even think HQ, like, just them getting to Dallas would be good enough.
Yeah. I do feel like maybe if we get to HQ, then we still have the looming threat of, hey, those night crawlers that we didn't really kill them all, they're still outside. So we gotta have to figure that out too. Because I would like if we do this whole 2.3 sequence of them fighting their way out of the HQ, and then they get out, and the night crawlers are still there. It's like, oh crap, we gotta get them too. Or maybe we can find a way to get the night crawlers to get the monster hunters while we can escape. Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. You found it, by the way. Because we are gonna do pretty much exactly what you said. This is gonna sound awful. We definitely need to orphan the kids. 100%. Yeah, they need to be orphaned.
And at least one kid needs to die, I think. And that's probably...
I don't know.
Look, my track
it might be more sad.
My track on baby killing is very established, you know?
Because I think our theme is... There needs to be a glimmer of hope, and if these kids are siblings, they're gonna stick together.
Okay. Yeah.
I see. And I see that it's already a very tragic and sad situation. They're gonna be put into God knows whatever system is in place for orphans at the time.
You know what system it is?
The church, probably.
They're gonna be brought into the monster hunting. They're gonna be monster hunters now.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. And that's going to create a scenario down the road, but yeah.
And you know what the really horrifying thing is? Now that once we figure out that the monster hunters are evil and stuff, Coyote accidentally brought them to this point. He kind of made them who they will become, and he can't do anything about it now.
Yeah.
So that's something that he'll have to think about for a while, and that doesn't probably come up until movie 2 or something.
Yeah, that would be movie 2.
Yeah, that's. I think we can't kill the kids.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks out there that were.
The second thing I'm going to disagree. Well, it's not even a disagreement. It's I think we injure one of the kids. Yeah. I'm not going to disagree. I think I'm going to take it further. We injure one of the kids. Jeunie. Jeunie is wheezing. She is not doing well. And she has to absolutely. Pick up this kid, and she's struggling to full run. I don't think that. The only thing I disagree with is I don't think they're locking arms. I think, but I think that was more not literal. I think it was more.
You get the idea, though.
Yeah.
You get the idea where Coyote has to be preoccupied of checking the rear and all the angles, while Jeunie has to be maybe it's not locking arms, but it's definitely Coyote's not looking forward. I think he's looking everywhere else. He has to put his arm on Jeunie and trust where she's going.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even be against. He has a last stand moment that he somehow escapes from, where he is just like, all right, here we go, and he starts just fighting and keeping them occupied while the other, I'm gonna say 3 run.
Yeah. 3.
And he's a good enough tracker. He's a hunter, so he's a good enough tracker that he can find them later. And it's like he sent them to Dallas. He knows where they're going. So they're all right. So we need to summarize this because we are almost out of time already.
Yeah.
So start summarizing. I'm gonna keep talking.
Maybe you can write some of this down in really quick beat form while I summarize so that we'll remember.
All right, that's fine.
For when we come back to that. Okay, so folks, recap on the episode. We had another kind of argument, probably the biggest one we've had so far in this journey.
They're all friendly,
I think we're able to. Yeah, they're friendly, but we're able to come up with something that maybe is able to be used. So, summary. We have the Fresno Nightcrawlers in the fog choking the mom of this new family that we met. Before Coyote's gonna draw his gun to like save her and shoot the monster away, but Jeonye starts having a panic attack that's not gonna quit and is gonna be worse than any that we've seen so far. And there's gonna be a physical change to that, so that we know that this is unlike the ones that we've seen before. This is worse by at least 5 times. And it's gonna be constant. So, the dad also dies pretty quickly, whether it's another monster coming out of nowhere and killing him, or he as he's trying to rush the kids along, he gets caught in a monster trap that was set up to catch these Nightcrawlers, and then he gets picked off really easy. Something like that. He dies pretty quickly. So the Coyote understands what they have to do. He understands their assignment. He's like, all right, Jeonye, I have trust in you. So you have to lead us out of here. I'm going to cover the rear and all the other angles. Don't worry about a monster. Just keep going. Get to HQ no matter what. And you have to bring these kids with us. Because I'm not going to let these kids die. Even though that was what the training would be. That's not me. So, now we're going to have to do that. Coyote is looking around, trying to keep up as best as he can, but he's probably going to get into a last-stand situation where he has to, fight off some of them to give them the other 3 time. Jeonye is going to have to deal with her physical inhibitions while also carrying these kids to safety. And I think there's a moment here where we get a glimpse of her background as a thief/assassin/ person who maybe has some trauma that she has unworked. I don't know what that looks like yet, but we can figure that out when we come to write this scene out in proper. Maybe it's something about she has an opportunity to take advantage of the situation, and maybe in doing so would endanger the Coyote and the kids, but she would be doing it out of her own self-interest. She chooses not to do that in this instance.
Mm-hmm.
Showing growth after what happened before, but not enough growth to not have those thoughts. So, but anyways, we get to a situation where Jeonye is able to book it to Dallas/HQ doors, and we get to safety, not without a lot of hardship and probably injuring one of these kids.
Yeah.
Not too horribly, but yeah. Jeonye is definitely wheezing, showing some signs of labor and pain, but she's using that background of army/assassin to push forward.
You can disagree with what my summer. This might even just work for.
Yeah, I think it might.
And I'm gonna do a thing so that she has to forcefully get into a little combat.
Yeah.
And grabs one of the kids. Jeonye takes. I don't remember the sword's name, but I'm just gonna her sword and stabs through the leg of the Nightcrawler. Janier picks up the kid that got grabbed and runs alongside the other. And then okay, so they run off into the darkness and out of the fog. The coyote. So we need to. Okay. Did you say what happens to the coyote? I got sucked into my bullets that I was working on.
I hadn't said what happens to the coyote. What do you think would happen? What do you think should happen to help push him along his journey?
That's gonna have to be a discussion for next time, which I think is perfect. I think we've kind of solved our problem, and because the coyote, he's literally just gonna be fighting, and we just have to write him out of that situation and get him into Dallas. I'm gonna
figure out what his it is.
They make it to. I'm pretty sure it's Dallas.
Dallas HQ.
Yeah. So next time, and these bullets might work, but we'll have to, because I just wrote those in the span of like 3 minutes. We'll go over that next time, and we will make that maybe better, different. We'll see.
And then we'll start trying to craft this midpoint to be satisfying, twisty, and lead into even more fun action.
Yeah, we're almost done with 2.2, which is amazing because really 2.1 took forever.
Yes, it did. Yeah, it did. And that sometimes happens. Some parts of a movie are just quicker to writers, and that's okay. Movies are a tricky business to predict. So you just kind of have to go with the flow.
So, this is episode 30. We're so glad to be at episode 30. It is so cool. I know we just celebrated episode 25, but still 30 is a cool accomplishment.
Hey, we can celebrate as many episodes as we want.
Yeah.
I think it's an accomplishment in and of itself to keep doing another episode after another episode.
Yeah, dude. Comment below thoughts for sketches, movies, stuff. I know we haven't done a sketch in a long time. The whole goal of this season was to write a feature film, which we are gonna kind of continue to work on. We will try. I believe we are going to break from this after the beat sheet.
For sure. We'll do a break after beat sheet.
Although there is going to be a surprise, I believe, next episode. So stay tuned for that. It is something very different from what we usually do.
I think I know what you're doing.
And Braydan does take the lead on it. So enjoy that. I don't want to spoil anything that you don't want me to spoil.
No, yeah. Just I would assure you that you definitely want to stick around for this one. And it may lead into more things like it in the future if y'all enjoy it. We'll just see how that goes. Stick around.
Let's see. I saw a comment.
I'll give them a prompt.
Give them a prompt.
I have an idea. So, obviously, comment down below your ideas for the movie and sketches in the future. We would love to hear. Or if you do dislike the video and you hit that thumbs down, you do have to tell us in the comments why you didn't like it, and so we can improve. But for everyone else, if you want to comment something, comment who do you think would win in an actual fist fight, me or Cole?
You. You 100%. It would
Really?
be. Oh yeah, dude.
I don't know, dude. Honestly, I have no idea.
I think I mentioned this last episode. I was bullied in high school by people like a foot shorter than me, so it's just like.
Did you actually have you ever gotten into a fight before?
No, not into a fight, but I'm usually, and this isn't. I mean, it's not a bad thing, I guess, unless I get into a fight. But I'm usually the weaker person. Usually. But that is a good prompt, and I am curious to see if people have confidence in me, which would be crazy to me. But whatever.
That would be nice to hear. It's like this is more of us just giving ourselves confidence by having people online that maybe we've never met say that you would win in a fight against your other best friend. That's encouraging to hear, you know?
Yeah. If you're constantly, searching us up looking for a new video, go ahead and subscribe. Our stuff will show up on the main page. You'll get notified. And make life easier on you.
Notification.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that might be it. So this is a Saturday episode, so we will
come back Wednesday and you'll see both of us again next Saturday.
Yeah.
I believe.
Maybe.
Yes.
We'll see what there's a thing going on and I'm going away for a little bit, so we'll see.
He's going away.
I'm going away for I'm going home for
not passing away, he's going away.
I'm going away. Yeah. I'm going to swim. I'm going to run across the Atlantic and see what I find. I'm looking for inspiration for the feature. I don't know what that has to do with the feature.
Going across the Atlantic and not to Texas is the right way to go.
That's correct, yes. I'm going to go to Africa, across the Atlantic, and then not explore Africa, but just run all the way back. And not swim, run. I'm going to run.
Oh, yeah. Like doing a suicide in gym. Like you just run all the way over there, touch it, and then run all the way back.
That's right. Awesome. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.